Hello and welcome to the channel. This is Wonder. Today I'll be showing you some Asylum Sanctorium Plus 2 main tank builds, and as well as gameplay footage from some pug runs I've been in. Big shout out to the Irish VAS people, Fitzy and Co, for hosting these runs and letting me try these out. It's been a long time since I've main tanked, so let's get to it. If I pull up the main tank build I have prepared for you by typing superstar. As usual, on the left you have Wizard's Wardrobe. If you notice, even though there's just one fight in the game, I have 3 setups. This is pretty typical with the next setup feature. I have one for running, one for pre-buffing, and this pre-buff setup is basically almost identical to my boss setup, with the exception of this one scouting rune skill. Basically what I do is I'm running, I want to have speed on my setup, so I have Wild Hunt on with Swift, and I have some pre-buff skills. All of these skills like Igneous Weapons, Arctic Blast, and so on, these are skills that I can cast, then swap off of, and the effects will remain. So they're essentially pre-buff skills, as well as Rapids. And then when I approach the boss, I kind of have a setup as close to the main setup as possible. So Lesson and Zen, still with speed, but all my skills are almost identical, with the only skill I want to pre-buff swapped out. So once I cast Scouting Rune, I'll press Next Setup, which will swap to my main boss setup, and then I will initiate the fight by taunting the boss. So if I get caught in my pre-buff setup, it's actually not that big of a deal. I still have most of the sets I need to play the fight, as well as all the skills, so it's kind of a good strategy to do if you're still learning the cadence of pulling the boss and so on, but you still want to try to pre-buff. Make a pre-buff setup that's very close to your boss setup, so if you get stuck in it, it's not that big of a deal. And you might notice that even though I have Crypt Cannon on, I have Werewolf slotted. This Ultimate's regen passive works through Crypt, so it is something you can kind of add on for a little bonus. But now let's look at our main boss setup. So I'm going to equip this. Okay, and in this setup, it's a pretty standard main tank setup with three subclassing lines. Winter's Embrace, obviously for Major Resolve for the group. Reverend Heart for Igneous Weapons, pre-buffed, and Stagger, as well as Minor Brutality. Ardent Flame was picked simply because I am in charge of keeping up Zen, and it has some very strong, long, single target dots that proc Zen, and as well as status effects. It also provides engulfing to the group, although you might not have a lot of flame damage nowadays, but it's still a good debuff to have. So that's why these 3 skill lines are picked. You'll also notice that I am in full Bloodthirsty, daggers, and so on, only 2 heavy on, with not much health. In today's meta, VAS is so fast that the main tank has evolved into a role where you're basically a DD with a taunt. You notice I don't have a heal or any defensives on, really. So if I pull up CMX, you see an example here of a run. It's only a minute and 13 seconds or so, so given this time, even in pugs, it's pretty achievable nowadays. Films might spawn for a bit, but he is basically not present if your fight time is this short. And I'm doing about 55k single target to the boss as the main tank, while keeping up all of these debuffs. So you can think of the main tank role as a DD with a taunt nowadays. When I was playing in this run, I was by no means that experienced with it. It was my first time main tanking in a few years, but I did reasonably well, I would say. I think even on the logs, for example, you can pull up damage to bosses and check the tank parses. Everything above here, you can see the first 5 parses from actual DDs. So um, despite the inexperience, did pretty well. I think this is still the top public log parse for a tank. You actually have to look at +1 runs as well, because these +1 in logs actually are +2 runs if Felms is skipped, because logs will register that as +1 if Felms doesn't spawn at all. So the top spot here is a DD. So I did okay. I mean, by no means did I play perfectly, but reasonably well, I would say. Okay, going back to the build, I'm gonna pull up Superstar again. You'll notice I have 4 Zen dots on, Claw, Engulfing, and these 2 Scribing dots, one with Minor Force, and one with Minor Courage because I'm not standing in banners the whole time. 4 Zen dots plus Burning and Poisoned, plus some bleeding uptime from Bloody Knife, does give you pretty good 5 times Zen uptimes. You can see in the CMX, I had about 94% 5 times Zen, which is really good. But these 2 debuffs in combination with everything else you have to keep up is not that easy to keep up at first. Knife has to be cast every 5 seconds. It's a pretty short range. Obviously, stagger as well. So I would recommend some sort of rotation to start where you cast these 2 skills together every 5 seconds or so. So whenever you cast knife, also cast stagger. And you can also just cast 2 skills in between each double cast of these skills. If you want to make it really simple, this will allow you to keep up all your debuffs pretty well. But if you obviously want to push damage, you're going to have to play this a bit more dynamically. But yeah, you notice I have very little health. I have all points in the stamina, just too heavy on. This basically means, given my no defensive CP2, if Ohms hits you, basically swipes at you, you have to row dodge, otherwise you will die. So because of that, I have expert evasion on. In case I make a mistake, like standing in the ticks of the spits and my stamina gets drained, I can still row dodge your swipes if I need to. You don't need to use this if you don't want to, of course. But I was learning, so I decided to have that on. And yeah, this is pretty much it for the build. So let's take a look at some gameplay footage now.
Starting countdown.
The thing about DPS tanking is that you are essentially as squishy as a DD. Thus, you'll have to drop your tanking habits and learn to play like a DD as well. Ready, 3, 2, 1. This involves minimizing the damage you take during the fight while maximizing your damage GCDs. And of course, this involves learning how to dance with ohms. If you draw a line down the center of the arena through the 2 protected spawn points, when ohms jumps to one half, you basically want to be in the other half as he lands. The instant he lands, you want to move into ohms so you can get your melee casts and light attacks off.
Yes.
This creates the effect of chasing ohms,
No way, NA hates
and
us.
if done correctly, you will not need to block during the sequence as a DD. If we rewind here a little to before almost lands, you can see me doing a few things here to delay the Storm of the Heavens. I first stay behind him to proc the tail stomp, but then quickly go in front of him to cancel it before the stunning AoEs appear. I then sidestep the spit so it gets cancelled, and then stay behind him a step to proc the tail stomp again, but this time I don't cancel it and allow for it to undergo its full duration. During Storm of the Heavens, notice that I kite pretty close to the boss here so I can still get all my melee GCDs off. I do nearly get killed by the off-tank kiting on me though. If you proc the tail slam stomp mechanics by staying behind the boss when he lands,
Oh, what the fuck?
make sure you quickly get in front of the boss to cancel the stomp before the stun circles come out, or your DDs will get pretty bad.
Entra's back.
Powerful.
Very powerful.
Bro did one light attack and then shot that bitch. I ain't never seen that before.
Yo, what the what?
Happens on an A.
Nice Parse, Wonder.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a good Parse.
I don't think so, but I
the
missed so
full,
many
definitely
casts
good
when he's
Parse.
jumping. Man, so
It's because he, like, when it's moving, I don't know, it's really hard to target with knife, especially.
I have the shorter range, and I think that's my big problem. I think.
Yeah.
This is why I said why is Sleepy so buggy.
Leave Sleepy alone, man.
He pulls up and like 2 balls in, he's getting 50 key.